Good morning, Happy New Year, and welcome to the University Convocation for Spring 2021. Many of you are just joining the Nicholls family this semester and may not know me. My name is Sue Westbrook. I'm Provost and Vice President for Academic Affairs. I think it is safe to say that we're happy to be embracing 2021 as a new year. Although the pandemic is not over and we will face new challenges, we must remain optimistic and hopeful in the months ahead with the vaccine now available and testing so accessible. I want to thank all of you for the teamwork, persistence, and professionalism demonstrated by faculty and staff during all of 2020, in spite of the many challenges posed by the COVID-19 pandemic. Of course, we must continue to remain vigilant in mitigating spread of the virus and keeping the Nicholls family and our campus safe. And we have proven that together we can do this, remain safe, and maintain quality academic outcomes. Because of your hard work, unrelenting determination, and work ethic, we have come through this with record-breaking retention from last fall to this fall. These positive outcomes are directly attributed to you, the faculty and staff, and I applaud all of you. Our QEP, which is SAM, Student Advising and Mentoring, is paying off with increases in retention and progression to degree that Ms. Renee Hicks will later share with you the specific statistics. President Clune will share many more exciting things happening on campus in his State of the University address. As always, safety of our faculty, staff, and students is our first and foremost priority. Consequently, we cannot let our guard down. You will continue to hear and see signage of the many safety protocols in place for which you are very familiar, but are no less important. These include wearing a mask, maintaining social distancing at a minimum of 6 feet apart, and washing your hands frequently. We're all looking forward to a productive spring semester. Our main goal continues to be a strong focus on the mission and vision of the university for providing quality accredited academic programs, as well as a continued focus on the success of our students for increasing retention and progression to degree attainment. As faculty and faculty advisors, you are the experts in your field and serve as role models to our students. Students look to faculty for advice and direction, particularly during trying times. Because we know our students are facing increased stress, especially financial stress resulting from this pandemic, I ask you to continue to be sensitive to the students' needs and let your voice serve as a source of support for them. If you believe a student or colleague is having difficulty coping, please assist them in reaching out to our counseling center. On the academic side of the house, we continue to see faculty earning SAM certification. Today, 219 faculty have earned either SAM Expert, Distinguished, or Advisor certification. Please monitor your email on the SAM website for upcoming events. There are about 40 faculty that have one more workshop to be certified as an advisor, so please make this one of your goals to accomplish this semester. As announced in the fall, this 2021 academic year is the third year of data collection that will be part of the SAC-COC 5-year report. So continued ongoing assessment of your program learning outcomes is critical. As per the academic master plan, the Center for Teaching Excellence is a reality under the direction of Dr. Amy Hollander, who will share with you later this morning her vision and plans for professional development activities this spring. Under the direction of Ms. Nicole Rashawn Simmons, Legacy Leaders was launched this past fall semester in an effort to increase student retention and success of our African American female students through a mentor-mentee program. The mentors and mentees were recruited this past fall with activities commencing this spring. Currently, the Legacy Leaders Initiative has recruited 20 peer mentors and 45 student mentees, and we're still counting. We look forward to the positive impact of this innovative initiative on the retention and progression of our students. Again, I ask you, the faculty and staff, to remain positive and to know that our new normal, as challenging as challenging as it may be, is a temporary situation, and I thank you all for all you do to help our students succeed and for making Nicholls a better place. We will now hear from Dr. Jay Clune, 6th President of Nicholls State University, as he delivers the State of the University address.
It is an understatement to say that 2020 was a challenging year. For 9 months, we dealt with a global pandemic and worked with students in the middle of a nationwide civil rights movement. I want to thank our faculty and our staff for your hard work this past year. You already go beyond your job duties in helping our students, but this past year you did what at times seemed impossible. Created as normal as an experience as possible for our students. I am forever grateful. We will return to pay raises once we emerge from our budget challenges caused by COVID. As a whole, our community displayed a remarkable commitment to keeping each other safe by wearing masks, social distancing, and keeping our group gatherings small. I would expect no less from the Nicholls family. Here are some of the things we were able to accomplish together despite being in the middle of a pandemic. We held a 3-week professional development program for faculty to help them prepare their classes for the high-flex model. Thanks to a record retention rate of 74.4%, we enrolled 6,780 students, our highest total since Nicholls began selective admissions. We created socially distant classrooms and computer labs across campus to meet the needs of our students and comply with recommendations from the Center for Disease Control. We once again ranked as the best public regional university in the state of Louisiana by U.S. News & World Report. We safely held multiple commencement ceremonies for spring, summer, and fall 20 graduates. For the 3rd straight semester, our athletic program set a new student-athlete GPA record. Most importantly, we were able to finish the semester on our campus, our home, without any major outbreaks, and with very few campus transmissions. Despite being limited by COVID-19, we still made progress with significant renovations across campus, including the Bollinger Student Union, a beautiful and inviting space that exudes school spirit. I want to let you know that a bookstore renovation is coming soon. Shaver Gymnasium, including 175 desks that will replace wooden desks in our classrooms after the pandemic ends. I want to give a shout out to Terry Dupree for his wizardry in ordering equipment, and Scott Williams for the remarkable COVID-19 work his facility staff has done. The Babington Residential Complex, 2 floors of North and South Babington, once unused, now provide more than 60 single occupancy rooms for high-risk, quarantine, and isolated students. Look for the police station to be moved to the 1st floor of South Babington, freeing up their Calikas home for softball locker rooms and offices. The DeSalvo Calle Family Student Media Center, the best student media center in the state. Thank you to the generosity of that family. Also to the Danos family, who finished the endowment of $1 million to ensure the upkeep of the theater and allowed us to use additional money to repaint the building and re-envision the rear of the building with the kiln shed and mismatched fencing. And we're not done yet. Other projects currently underway or planned for the future include the Orland B. Sinak Greenhouse, the glass structure coming this spring, where Bridge Independent students will grow herbs for culinary. The donor, Mr. Benny Sinak. Ellender Library Makerspace, the donor remains anonymous for now. The Book Vault Family Athletic Complex in the football stadium. Nicholls Coastal Center, a $15 to $20 million project, and the Bayou Region Business Incubator, a $3.5 million project. All will be built with state capital outlay dollars and private donations, meaning none of this comes from our operating budget from which we pay faculty and staff salaries and student scholarships. Look for a new coffee shop in the library this spring. We know this semester will be a challenge. The spring will look similar to the fall. Our classes will continue to be socially distanced. Many of our classes will be high flex, and we will continue to enforce limited entrances into our campus buildings and require smaller group settings. For all faculty, in addition to holding classes amid the pandemic, I know that many of you are experiencing COVID fatigue. I encourage you to take advantage of the resources provided by our counseling center. For our new faculty, I encourage you to reach out to your colleagues. This is a team effort, and it takes the entire campus working together to be able to finish this semester in person. We have already seen the return of Nicholls athletics with our men's and women's basketball programs. This semester will be historic for our Colonels as all sports will be playing spring ball. While for many of our Colonel fans this might seem like a dream scenario, there will be limited fan attendance at games and no tailgating for Nicholls football. We need to be creative but safe. The nationwide distribution of vaccines have provided 2021 with the hope that this will be our last socially distanced semester. Our nursing, allied health, and some teacher education students will soon be eligible for vaccines to protect themselves and the communities they serve. We hope for a late spring rollout for the majority of our campus population. I encourage every individual to get the vaccine when it becomes available. My mother and mother-in-law have been vaccinated in the past few days. Vaccines are the key to being able to embrace our friends and relatives again in the future. Until vaccines are available, we will test and test and test. Health services will have rapid tests available this semester for our faculty, staff, and students. We anticipate administering tens of thousands of tests. We thank the state for providing us these at no cost to us. Thanks to the National Guard and LDH, we have spent a fraction of what other schools have spent on testing. We will set up satellite testing sites across campus to make this rapid testing more accessible to the entire campus community. Additionally, the National Guard has returned to their spot in front of the Student Union to provide free CPR testing available to the entire Bayou region. As you might know, the state of Louisiana has suffered financially through this economic downturn. Nicholls is in stable financial condition, but we need to be as frugal as possible this year. We have to continue operating to provide the best possible education experience for our students, but we also need to be fiscally responsible to keep everyone employed. People first, the places they work, learn, live, and play second, and programs third, is what we always say. There's a light at the end of the tunnel, so take care of yourself, take care of each other, and we'll see you soon.
We would like to take the opportunity to announce new faculty and staff who will be joining the Nicholls State University family in academics and academic support services. From the College of Liberal Arts, Dr. Shay Cox, Assistant Professor in the Department of History and Geography, Miss Lauren Risulto, Instructor in the Department of English, Modern Languages, and Cultural Studies, and Mr. Thurman Lee, Manager of the Danos Theater within the College of Liberal Arts. From the College of Nursing, Dr. Lori Gardner, Assistant Professor of Nursing, and Ms. Krista Duplichan, Instructor of Nursing. From the College of Sciences and Technology, Ms. Sarah Grenier, Visiting Instructor of Mathematics. And from the Academic Services Center, Ms. Elizabeth False, Professional Academic Advisor, and Mr. David Ford, Professional Academic Advisor. Dr. Sue Westbrook will now conduct the presentation of awards.
Through the generosity of donors who support the university and the Louisiana Board of Regents, endowed professorships are made available to exemplary faculty to support their continued development in their discipline. The donors choose the discipline they wish to support, and the Board of Regents provides additional monies to strengthen the value of the endowment. This semester, we have 2 new Endowed Professorship Award recipients. The Peltier Foundation Endowed Professorship in Business Administration is awarded to Dr. Anne Marie Castile, Assistant Professor in the Department of Business Administration and Computer Information Systems. And the Thibodeau Regional Medical Center Endowed Professorship in Nursing is awarded to Dr. Lori Gardner, Assistant Professor in the Department of Nursing. Additionally, through the generosity of Regents Bank, the Office of Academic Affairs has established the Academic Affairs Award for Teaching Excellence. Recipients will receive a one-time stipend of $500. Deans and department heads were asked to nominate faculty from their areas who have met the following criteria: 5 years of consecutive teaching, 5 consecutive years of outstanding student evaluations, and 5 years of outstanding administrative evaluations. I'm pleased to announce the following recipients. From the College of Business Administration, Dr. Kevin Breaux, Professor of Accounting. Dr. Breaux consistently ranks among the best teachers in the College of Business based on student evaluations. Students seek out his courses and often cite him as one of the best instructors in the college. Despite years of high evaluations, Kevin does not stop looking for ways to make his courses better through innovative teaching strategies. His commitment to stay current with new technologies as the field of accounting evolves allows him to transfer relevant and current knowledge to our students. Students report that he is able to take a difficult subject and make the content clear and relevant. Kevin is also noted for his willingness to reach out to other faculty to collaborate on ideas to improve classroom outcomes. His leadership in the classroom significantly contributes to the high-quality rating of the Nicholls Accounting Program. Thanks in large to his dedication, Nicholls Accounting graduates are in high demand in the region. From the College of Education and Behavioral Sciences, Dr. Corman Broussard, Professor of Psychology. As Program Coordinator for the highest degree offered at Nicholls, a specialist degree in school psychology, Dr. Broussard is well respected by her students and fellow faculty. The specialist program was the first approved in the state of Louisiana in 1998. After rigorous review of the curriculum, program delivery, and outcomes, the program was recently approved until 2027 by the National Association of Student Psychology. The outstanding accolade is possible because of Dr. Broussard's continued dedication to her craft and pride in her students and their future. Dr. Broussard manages her program not only by pursuing currency in her field, but also by seeking highly qualified faculty who can support her and the overall goals of the program. Dr. Broussard consistently earns excellent student and departmental evaluations. She is a team player and offers to assist her fellow faculty with assessment strategies and the compilation of data. Her report writing skill is truly remarkable and essential in the world of higher education. Most importantly, she's an advocate not only for her program but the entire Nicholls community. Through her dedication to the continued growth of her program, she established an agreement with Rapides Parish that allows for the first remote learner in the school psychology program. This effort will certainly prove advantageous for future students as well as Nicholls. Dr. Corman Broussard is a dedicated faculty member and essential to the Department of Psychology. From the College of Liberal Arts is Ms. Elka Staley, Instructor of English. According to Ms. Staley's colleagues and her students, she is among our most respected and effective teachers. Her courses, many of which are part of the university's core curriculum, are among the first in our department to fill every registration period. Many of the students respond that they sign up for specific courses because Ms. Staley is the instructor or because a friend had recommended her as an instructor. In other words, she has a very loyal following, which is a testament to her ability to engage students and to facilitate their learning. Ms. Staley has been an instructor at Nicholls for nearly a decade, and her student evaluations have been consistently near the top of the ratings for our department and the university. Her reputation as an outstanding educator is such that many of her colleagues come to her for advice on how to handle particular assignments and other matters related to classroom management. Her knowledge of teaching and assessment has led to her appointment as the department's adjunct coordinator, assisting the department head with the evaluation of our many adjunct instructors, both for traditional Nicholls and for Nicholls Online. She is also serving as the assistant writing program administrator, assisting with the challenging task of managing our writing programs, which consist of all first-year writing courses as well as upper-level courses in advanced writing. Additionally, she has served as academic advisor for English majors working on a concentration in literary studies. In short, she is a departmental factotum, that is, a colleague who can serve in a number of different roles, but also someone who does so with such excellence and a positive attitude that she lifts the performance of all those around her. Most of all, she raises the performance of her students who typically know excellence when they experience it in the classroom. From the College of Nursing, Ms. Helena Reshort, Assistant Professor of Nursing. Ms. Reshort holds the Master of Science in Nursing, is a board-certified family psychiatric and mental health nurse practitioner, and is most deserving of the Academic Affairs Award for Teaching Excellence. Helena serves as a course coordinator for the Psychiatric Mental Health Nurse Practitioner Concentration in the MSN program, including psychotherapy for the advanced practice of psychiatric nurse, advanced practice nursing, psychiatric mental health 1, psychiatric mental health 2, and psychiatric mental health 3. This means every student in the concentration has contact with Ms. Reshort. Helena's focus is on student success in the class and the practicum setting. She is SAM certified. She fully engages students in the online environment with some of the most complex specialty mental health nursing content and brings innovative pedagogies to reality on a daily basis. Through her insight from current practice and the known rigor associated with psychiatric mental health nursing, Helena is able to translate this experience to her students through her teaching learning practices. The students are lucky to have her. Ms. Reshort is known for traveling to students across the state to provide and ensure individualized instruction and the best opportunity for success. This is evident in the stellar outcomes in each of her courses and the accolades echoed by students each semester. For this, we continue to celebrate our psychiatric mental health nurse practitioner graduates, 100% certification pass rate. She is committed to preparing students for the advanced practice nurse role. Mrs. Reshort's expertise and commitment to graduate education is equally shared across our intercollegiate consortium. For this, we are formidable. It is this commitment to education and to the nursing profession that makes Ms. Reshort most deserving of the Academic Affairs Award for Teaching Excellence. From the College of Sciences and Technology, Dr. Glenn Lowe, Professor of Chemistry. Dr. Lowe is the in-house teaching technology expert for the Department of Chemistry and Physical Sciences. Long before it was trendy or essential, as it is these days, Dr. Lowe was pioneering new methods to effectively and efficiently teach online, as well as mentoring our faculty to do the same. In response to the high-flex demands of 2020, his expertise was recognized by both the university and the University of Louisiana system, as he shared his knowledge of educational technology with faculty at Nicholls and across the state during the statewide Bridging the Divide trainings last summer. A faculty enrolled in Bridging the Divide said this about Dr. Glenn Lowe's course. This was by far the best organized and useful Moodle course that I have ever attended. I will take these skills forward to utilize in all of my courses. Hats off to Professor Lowe. Dr. Lowe is not just an excellent teacher behind the computer screen, but rather he is also one of the department's most respected educators in the classroom and laboratory. Dr. Lowe's students are appropriately challenged by his physical chemistry courses and walk away with a deep understanding of the complex material. He has designed much of the curriculum for the university's introductory chemistry labs, including best practices in teaching and learning chemistry, while also interweaving core university competencies such as communication and computer literacy. Dr. Lowe is a teacher of teachers and a student favorite and is wholly deserving of this recognition. From the Chef John False Culinary Institute, Mr. Jean Degg, instructor of culinary arts. Jean has garnered outstanding student evaluations in all courses taught since hired. He is a tireless worker in that regard. Jean constantly confers with industry professionals to maintain workforce currency in the classroom and laboratory. He is always upgrading coursework from semester to semester to reflect the current state of affairs in the applied field of culinary. He is relentless in his effort to bring the best education possible to those in his charge by embracing change and extending knowledge whenever possible. Additionally, as a leader of the Chef John Falls Culinary Institute internship program for both sophomores and seniors, Jean works tirelessly to not only attract strong, productive internships, but equally to match student needs to potential internship sites, most beneficial to both the site and long-term student growth in the classroom and beyond. His efforts consistently result in site satisfaction with the students they take and the request for more, and student satisfaction with a compatible learning environment allowing them to achieve their greatest good. Further, Jean has been instrumental in creating formal course open educational resources for both sophomore and senior students. Prior to this work, no formalized course material existed. We are now cutting edge because of Jean's input and assistance in formalizing and compartmentalizing internship coursework. Finally, Jean is inherently an outstanding and passionate person who cares deeply about his students, their future, and our department. In sum, Jean Degg is an integral component in our department's success. Congratulations to all the awardees of the Academic Affairs Award for Teaching Excellence that's sponsored by Region Bank. At this time, I would like to welcome Mr. Jeremiah Johnson, Director of the Nicholls Makerspace, located on the first floor of Elkins Library, to tell us about this exciting new endeavor.
Hello, everyone. My name is Jeremiah Johnson. I'm the director of the Hub, a makerspace for Nicholls State University that will be opening up later in the spring semester. I come to you from Williamsport, Pennsylvania, where I was the manager of a makerspace at the Pennsylvania College of Technology. I was also teaching sculpture, 3D design, 2D design, drawing, painting, and printmaking at Lycoming College, Bucknell University, and Bloomsburg University in Pennsylvania. I'm here today to talk to you about the opportunities here that are available for all students, faculty, and staff of Nicholls State University. So what is a makerspace? A makerspace is a facility with a variety of tools, 3D printers, laser cutters, and more for academic and creative application. It's also a space for collaboration, where students and faculty can come in and work on projects, either personal or for other classes. Who can utilize the Hub? The Hub is for the whole campus community to work. We have things like 3D printing. Right here, you see one of the 3D printers. We're going to have 6 of them with a maximum printing size of 11 by 10 by 12 inches. They also print with dual filament capabilities, where they can either print in 2 colors or just print with dissolvable support material, which you will find pretty interesting. You can make anything from anatomical structures, teaching models, molecular models, and also do design prototyping. We'll also have machining, which includes laser cutting as well as laser engraving, up to 1/4 inch thick wood, CNC milling that can be done, and metal fabrication. Here you see a water jet cutter, which can cut up to 1 inch thick steel. We also have woodworking equipment, including saws, hand tools, a drill press specifically for wood and one specifically for metal, laser cutting and laser engraving again, and also the CNC router that you see here, which carves wood and also soft or hard plastic and soft metals in a 2.5 dimension. The Makerspace is a place to innovate. It's a place where you can come together to design classroom materials, make displays, do project development, do-it-yourself marketing, also presentation materials, product prototyping, which is interesting, where you can sit here, you can design, create something on the computer and see it come to fruition with a 3D printer. Also make signage as well as promotional materials. It's also a place to create, a place where you can come to sculpt in wood, metal, or plastic. You can make molds, make cutlery, build instruments, sew and embroider, as well as just come in and make alterations to your uniforms and even design uh, digital embroidered emblems and things like that for uniforms as well. We want this, the Makerspace is a place where you come in, that we want you to feel welcome while you're here. Faculty can reserve the hub for group meetings or class projects. For example, an anthropology professor at my previous university used to reserve the space to bring his students in to make primitive tools. It was a nice hands-on project for an otherwise class that usually just is for a standard lecture class. In a sense, it was a way to get students out of the classroom and actually interact more. Students can work in the hub as well during regular library hours. Workshops, there's workshops and outreach for the whole campus community that happen here, 1 hour workshops each week that will be offered for everyone to learn how to learn how to use the machines sometimes, but also to do anything from making survival bracelets to learning how to hand embroider. For example, we also offer safety training for all the makers, and all the people that come in are trained by on-site student technicians that do the trainings here, as well as manage the space itself. So what do you want to make? I'm interested in meeting with faculty in all the different departments here at Nicholls to share more information and ideas for the hub. My office is in room 124, which is right next to where the space is currently being constructed, and that's in the Allender Library on the first floor, the left side of the building, just behind one of the computer labs. I'm always available to meet and talk more with faculty, groups, and clubs around campus. And I want to thank you for your time, and I look forward to meeting you here.
Thank you, Jeremiah. And now, Mr. Stephen Kinney, Assistant Vice President for Human Resources and Chief Diversity and Inclusion Officer, will now present on recognizing and responding to micro and macro aggressions.
Greetings. It is always a pleasure to have an opportunity to present on diversity, equity, and inclusion. For those of you who were at the Spring 2020 Convocation, I presented on Is This Seat Taken?, where we discuss opportunities to increase diversity in areas of hiring, committee assignments, and promotion and tenure. Whether you're looking for things to get back to normal or you're embracing what we consider our new normal, one thing remains the same. Our work around diversity, equity, and inclusion continues. During the Spring Convocation last year, none of us had the insight that we have now. Insight that the year 2020 would challenge us in many ways, in many areas of our daily lives, ways that we've never been challenged before. Today is the beginning of a new semester in a new year, one that we embrace with so much hope. For a moment, I would like to engage you in a conversation around macroaggressions and microaggressions. Macroaggressions and or microaggressions are verbal, nonverbal, and environmental slights, snubs, and insults, whether intentional or unintentional, that communicate hostile, negative, and derogatory messages towards a person or persons based solely upon their position in a marginalized group. The difference between a macroaggression and a microaggression is who it's directed at. Macro being macroaggressions being directed at a group of individuals, while a microaggression being directed at an individual. Let's take a look on a national level. On next week, Kamala Harris will take the oath of office as the first female, first Black, and first Asian American elected to the office of the Vice President of the United States. For anyone that questions whether or not she can manage her emotions in the office, is expressing a microaggression against Vice President-elect Kamala Harris based upon the fact that she's a female. For anyone that questions whether or not any female that can manage their emotions in the office of the Vice President of the United States has expressed a macroaggression against all women vying for that role. While the example of having a woman in the position of Vice President of the United States is a timely one for this discussion, I believe it's important that we look for opportunities to see where there are potential areas for macroaggressions and microaggressions here on our campus. As a community of professionals, we're here to support the university's mission to prepare students for regional and global professions in a spirited campus environment. As professionals, we must support and respect the diversity that our students represent. Slights or snubs based upon a student's native language or their accent because we speak English here is never appropriate. Likewise, to make comments or derogatory remarks about a student based upon their gender or gender identity is never appropriate. The ability for a microaggression or a macroaggression to be introduced into a conversation is easy, and oftentimes is based upon an unconscious bias that we have. But it's important that we realize that macroaggressions and microaggressions are not limited simply to race and gender. Let's look at another example. A supervisor who continues to criticize or make comments about an employee because they have small children at home, and an employee could be male or female, has expressed a microaggression based upon that individual having small children. Likewise, if a supervisor says that I will never hire anyone with small children because they can't dedicate themselves to the university, the division, or the department, has expressed a macroaggression against all individuals with small children and could be grounds for discriminatory hiring practices. This is never appropriate. As professionals, we have to engage in these type of conversations in order for us to move and grow together. In our roles as university employees, it is our shared responsibility that we support the programming and initiatives around diversity, equity, and inclusion. As the Chief Diversity and Inclusion Officer, I look forward to continuing the conversation as we continue to engage in these brave discussions as we build responsible advocate voices to engage. Welcome to Spring 2021. Have a safe and productive semester.
As part of the academic master plan that was instituted in 2020, a Center for Teaching Excellence was envisioned for Nicholls State University. The center has become a reality under the direction of Dr. Amy Hollander, who also serves as an assistant professor in the Department of Teacher Education. Dr. Hollander will now talk about the exciting initiatives of the Center for Teaching Excellence for the upcoming year.
Hi everyone, my name is Amy Hollander and I'm an assistant professor in teacher education as well as the director for the Center for Teaching Excellence, or the CTE. First off, I would like to acknowledge our exceptional faculty who have managed to adapt their courses to high-flex, hybrid, and online environments. You all have done an exceptional job and deserve a pat on the back. The CTE was established in the fall of 2020 to meet the need identified from the academic master plan. The center consists of myself as the director and 2 graduate assistants, as well as a robust advisory board representing almost every single department on this campus. All programs and professional development initiatives driven by the center come from our annual faculty needs assessment. This assessment goes out every fall. The CTE has absorbed the cafe, so the Moodle page that used to be named Cafe has been renamed CTE Videos and Resources. We would like to thank Dr. Amy Hebert for keeping the cafe going and doing an extraordinary job, particularly when we went 100% online. The CTE has a website, Twitter account, and YouTube channel, all of which can be found at the bottom of the emails I've been sending out to you all, as well as searched for through the Nicholls website. We have some fantastic programming coming up this semester, including a spring book club where we'll be focusing on the book Minds Online. We will also be starting various faculty learning communities, providing one-on-one consultations to faculty, and workshops in which faculty will be working on writing over the summer. Please be on the lookout for future programming, including our Faculty Fellows program. Starting fall 2021, we plan to provide a new Faculty Institute and additional programming. Please check out our website and emails from our center for more information. January and February have some terrific and timely webinars scheduled, which are posted on our calendar of events on the website. Finally, our goal is to constantly be meeting the needs of our faculty. And if you want to see specific programming or want to provide specific programming, please email us at cte@nichols.edu. I look forward to seeing you all at the January and February webinars. And if you can't make it, they will be recorded and posted on our YouTube site and Moodle page. Take care and have a wonderful semester.
Research and scholarly activity is a cornerstone of the modern university, and Nicholls State University has certainly added to the body of knowledge that informs faculty, students, and the broader community. Each January, the Office of Research and Sponsored Programs recognizes 10 outstanding faculty and/or staff with a Grantsmanship Award. Recipients are faculty and staff who balance their teaching, research, and/or administrative responsibilities on top of securing and implementing one or more external grants. Despite the perils associated with the past year, Nicholls secured well over $7 million in grants. Over $5 million came from the CARES Act program, which provided funds both to students and the university for costs and instructional disruptions brought about as a direct result of COVID-19. Other funding provided programmatic grants for services such as providing mental health services to regional infants and their young mothers, support and resources to low-income first-generation students seeking post-secondary access, assistance to startup businesses, and soon-to-be-implemented a cybersecurity training program for encumbered workers in Lafourche, Terrebonne, and St. Mary parishes to help businesses become proficient in protecting their companies from cyber hacks. In the area of research, grants included monitoring the coastal wetlands, greenhouse studies on marsh vegetation, studying functional genomics in gorefish, a digital curation which will develop a reliable and expandable coding system for qualitative and quantitative data sets, researching the Gulf Coast and a workforce infrastructure that is building on the expertise of unmanned aerial systems technology established at Nicholls. As evident, 2020 brought a broad range of programs and research activity to our university. The research culture provides multiple benefits to students, faculty, and the university as well. Undergraduate research students hired on grants receive one-on-one mentorship, share intellectual connections, and develop high-level thinking skills. Faculty benefit by achieving their highest levels of understanding when their research is communicated to others through teaching or at conferences and in published work. And the university gains eminence by sharing knowledge, thus promoting regional and economic growth and development. Please join me in applauding these top 10 recipients of the 2020 Grantsmanship Award. Mr. Terry Breaux, Vice President for Finance and Administration, received $5,057,520 from the Department of Post-Secondary Education. Ms. Gina Bergeron, Regional Infant and Early Childhood Mental Health Supervisor, received $522,024 from the Louisiana Department of Health and the Louisiana Department of Children and Family Services. Ms. Debbie Benoit, Director of the Office of Research and Sponsored Programs, received $422,736 from the Delta Regional Authority and the U.S. Department of Education. Dr. Andrew Simoncelli, Director of Distance Education, received $250,076 from the U.S. Department of Education. Dr. Balaji Ramachandran, Associate Professor in the Department of Geomatics, received a combined total of $241,685 from the Louisiana Board of Regents, the American Sugarcane League, and the Terrebonne Parish Consolidated Government. Dr. Marilyn Masick Fry, Dean of the College of Business Administration, received $180,001 from the Louisiana Small Business Development Center and the U.S. Small Business Development Center. Dr. Quentin Fontenot, Department Head and Professor of Biological Sciences, received a combined total of $165,935 from the Lafourche Parish Government, Resource Environmental Solutions, Entergy, and the L'Oreal Foundation. Dr. Gary Lafleur, Professor of Biological Sciences, received $104,422 from the Bureau of Ocean Energy Management. Dr. Jonathan Willis, Assistant Professor of Biological Sciences, received $98,541 from the City of Thibodaux and the U.S. Army Corps of Engineers. Dr. Alice Ferrara, Professor of Biological Sciences, received $75,978 in partnership with the Port of South Louisiana, Michigan State University, and the University of Oregon. Congratulations to all, and thank you for your contributions to the university. Mrs. Renee Hicks, Assistant Vice President for Strategic Initiatives, Effectiveness, and Planning, will now provide an update on initiatives and data from her area.
This is Renee Hicks with an update from Institutional Research, Effectiveness, and Planning. Today's presentation, I'm going to present some data, and then we're going to look at some changes in digital measures. We're going to talk about the new planning and self-study system. We're going to do an update on the SAC's fifth year report, and then I'm going to do a quick assessment update. Data. First thing I want to look at is the overall enrollment. Now that fall 2020 numbers are finalized, last time we met, they were just projections. The good news is overall enrollment for fall was up, and the highest we've seen since 2011 at 6,780. Our entering freshmen weren't quite where we hoped they would be for the fall. They dropped somewhat. I think we had challenges with students entering college in the midst of the pandemic and not being able to be as prepared as they wanted to be. And of course, graduates right now, we don't have an update for this year yet, but forward. If we look at first year retention, and we've recently seen some articles come out in the Chronicle and showing that first year retention suffered because of the pandemic. And as you can see, fall 19 gives us who started in fall 19 and returned fall 2020. So these students were impacted by the pandemic. So they returned at the highest rate we have seen at our institution since its inception. Our return rate was 74.4%, which is a significant increase over last year, but it also, as I said, was a record year for Nicholls State. If we look at retention by gender and ethnicity, as we can see, break it down by each of the four major categories for Nicholls. If we look at African American female, we saw a slight decrease in those that retention rate, but it's still higher than the previous years before last year. So it's still showing a trend in the upward direction. African American males showed a decrease, still higher than most of our previous years, but it does show a decrease based on our past 2 years. Caucasian females was still quite high, even though it was a slight decrease from last year. And as we can see, Caucasian male rate actually increased from last year, but still slightly below 2 years ago. If we look at our entering class for the fall, who we feel like faced some challenges, not yet felt by any of our students because of the pandemic. But just to show you a comparison of fall 19 class compared to fall 2020, when we look at full-time first-time freshmen, we started with 51 fewer first-time freshmen in the fall than we had the previous year. When we look at their average hours earned, they earned about 1 hour less than the average from the previous year, but they're still well on track with what we consider progress for Complete College America, which would be 15 hours a semester. The average GPA dropped, but only slightly to by only 0.06. This number returning to spring is not yet solidified. It won't be settled until the first week of February. But right now, if we look at those who are returning for the spring, we're down about 5% retention fall to spring compared to what we had last year. Remember, we had that record fall to fall, and it definitely relates to what is returning for spring. So we don't like to see that 5% down. Hopefully it's preliminary and we still have some days to make that up. But if we look at returning to fall, that 4.4 was our highest rate ever. But if we look at having that same 5.2% dip for the next fall, that would show us below the 70% mark, and we would lose where we were down 51 students coming in, we'd be down 100 students continuing. So it's something we want to be aware of and to be working on those students and trying to help them succeed in the coming semesters. Okay, so let's look at digital measures. Faculty activity reporting should be happening right now. I've had some reach out to me to reset passwords and such. So any activity that occurred during the 2020 year, as far as publications, service awards, things that you are being evaluated on, should be reported into the system of digital measures by January 25th. Just as a side note, on February 1st, I'm going to be pulling reports from that system to send forward to coordinators of those 11 programs who are part of the academic program review process this year. So especially if you are in one of those departments and your department head can let you know if that's happening for you this semester, please get those in by the deadline. We have a new feature. The great thing about digital measures is how customizable it is. And so this year we had a suggestion come forth from Claire Bourgeois that the service screens have a collaborator entry just like publications do. Right now, if you do a publication with a fellow Nicholls employee, when you're putting that publication in, you can cite that person and the item automatically appears on their digital measures reporting. So we have reached out to digital measures and they have added that to the service screen. Right now they have it labeled as authors, but we are getting them to change that to colleagues. On our original submission for this edition, we had asked for that name change. They just didn't quite finish it, so we've put in another, we've flagged the project as not yet complete, and they'll get that done. So when you insert a service project, like let's say the entire department does something service related, everyone can be tagged in the same entry without everyone having to enter that item multiple times. As I said, digital measures is completely customizable, so please, in your discussions and in looking at what is being put in there, if you have any suggestions, reach out to us and we will see if it can be done. Planning and self-study by Watermark. We have a new system that we are very excited about. The entire planning process for Nicholls has always been through using Word documents, through tracking things on a shared drive and trying to keep track of what has been done and not been done, and it's been difficult. I liken it to you trying to teach a course without Moodle, and you're just trying to keep track of grades and keep track of who has submitted and who hasn't without the benefit of having a quick and easy look in Moodle. This gives me a platform to make sure processes are being followed and a way for us to accumulate that data in one location. The things that we've already implemented in this new software, which we began implementing earlier in 2020, and academic program review was one of our first goals to get implemented, and that entire template is now within that system, and those completing their academic program review for this year are doing it in the new system. For academic programs, we are in the process of assigning a lead to every academic program. And in the very near future, we're going to be asking you to do input your program outcomes and sending you instructions on how to do that. Then to map those outcomes through your curriculum to see where they are being addressed and assessed. And we're also putting in the annual plans you turned in for the 2021 year and completing those in the system for you so that when it comes time for assessing those plans, they're going to be ready for you to do that come August of this year. Non-academic programs are going to input their annual plans this year, starting in the next month or so, and we're going to have some training programs for them as soon as we get the vice president's plans in place and have it ready to do all the mapping. The great thing about this system, it allows you to map your goals up the chain of command to your division level and also to the strategic plan, and it gives the university as a whole a beautiful outline to see where we're addressing every strategic initiative that we have set forward. The system also has accreditation templates built in, so we have already set up our SACS fifth year report within the system. This can be set up for any specialized accreditations you have, and we have asked them to do all of our national accreditations that we had on the books that they had, but it is easy for us to create new templates as well. So if it's not already built, my office would be happy to build one for you. Once such an accreditation report is completed, you have the ability to export it as a PDF document in full, as a Word document in full, or as a set of web pages. So we can assist you when you get to the point of completion of any accreditation report. Speaking of the SACS fifth year report, it is due in March 2022. I know when I started talking about all this, it seemed like it was a million years away, and now we're down to about 14 months. It is going to cover 3 years of data. We have to show SACS we are completing cycles, and they have to be able to see that we do those cycles regularly. So those are the years we will be reporting. Assignments have been made, and we've remade those through the planning and self-study system, so those people now have access to those portions. First drafts we're looking to have done very soon. Some still have not turned in, but we're working with those individuals. And we're looking at having a final draft completed by August of this year. And one thing we picked up on in attending the SACS COC virtual conference in December, several schools implemented what we had done for our full review was an administrative review. So we are planning to do that throughout the fall 2021, taking the reports one by one with a group of administrators. Dr. Kloon has been on several visits now, so he has been a reviewer. Dr. Westbrook and Dr. Keller assisted us in the last review, and Dr. Arsenault also wants to participate. So we will pull people in as necessary and go through these reviews and send back for revisions. We are hoping to have it all edited in the fall of 2021. It's due to SACS in March of 2022. We are trying desperately not to still be working at a frenzy in the 2022 year, but to be putting very final touches on it. And again, this will all be completed in our new planning and self-study software, which we are ecstatic about. Just an assessment update. Of course, our planning and self-study system setup is amazing. You will gradually get access to that as we get to your program. Where SAM is concerned, we are doing sophomore reflection piece collection this spring. And Dr. Amy Abear will be in touch with those who do that to ensure that those collections are being done through Portfolio. Freshman reflection pieces were collected in the fall of 2020. So our assessment team will be completing the assessment of those student learning outcomes this semester to be part of that SACS COC report as well. General education assessment happening this semester. This, as you know, we now have a new cyclical process for assessing general education. And the first two areas that are going to be assessed are quantitative reasoning and information and literacy technology. The assignments have all been created in Portfolio. So if you have a class that is completing that, we can help you in my office in Institutional Research Effectiveness and Planning, or Nicole Cotton can help you through Moodle to connect your assignment into that Portfolio assignment so that we have the artifacts when the assessment is complete. Okay, faculty evaluation update. We, in the fall, switched over completely to Evaluation Kit. So all of your fall results are available now through Evaluation Kit. You can access that system through Moodle. You should have a link on when you sign into Moodle to access your Evaluation Kit. Department heads, you can also, you should have two links in Moodle. One is for your faculty link. One is for your department heads link. But when you do your department head link, you should have access to anyone reporting to you. If there's any issues with that, please just contact my office. Our response rates were a little disappointing from the fall. I'm afraid our students got a little burnt out on technology in general. So we are going to be looking at and communicating ways to improve those response rates as the dates get nearer for doing those evaluations this semester. So look for some communication from my office, from some of your peers with ideas to increase the level of participation by the students in this. And this slide just gives you the spring 2021 dates for evaluations. For term A and term B, we give 2 weeks prior to exams. And for full term, we give 3 weeks. So you will see that as the dates come closer, we'll send a reminder, but that's when the evaluations will be open for your students to complete. During this time, you can also see your response rates. You cannot see how someone answered, but you can see who responded, and you can download lists of respondents or non-respondents. So during this time is when you want to be encouraging your students to actually complete the evaluation. And just quickly, we did NESE in the spring of 2020. Luckily, we had completed NESE right before we all left campus for COVID-19. So we do feel like the results were valid and were not affected by COVID-19 because they did finish early March right before we all left campus. But just to give you an idea, NESE is given to first year students, which is the FY results, and to senior year students, which is the SY results. First years are in gray, senior years are in pinks and reds. The 3 years of data we have, fall 17, 18, and 20, are progressively getting darker gray. And then the reds progressively getting darker are the senior years of those same years. So as you can see, the quality of interactions with faculty rated high went up substantially for both our first year and our senior year students. The quality of interactions with advisors actually fell some with first year students, but jumped tremendously in our senior year students. Career plans discussed with advisors went up substantially with first year students, but dropped in our senior year students. Students receiving prompt feedback went up with first year students, dropped with senior year students, but ended up about at the same rate for both bodies. Interaction with diverse others dropped in both groups. The institution substantially emphasizing student support services dropped slightly in first year, but went up in senior year. And the question that I always like to see is the satisfaction with the entire educational experience. You can see our first year students dropped just below 90%, but our seniors are giving us a 93% satisfaction rate with their entire educational experience when they look back on their experience. Please contact me or ir@nichols.edu, and we would be happy to provide you with more information.
Ms. Cambria Buzagard, Director of the Academic Services Center, will update us on changes within the University 101 course, a college preparatory course for all first-time freshmen.
Good morning. My name is Cambria Buzagard, and I am the Director of the Academic Services Center and the Coordinator of the Academic Advising Center. Today I'm here to tell you a little bit about UNIV 101 and what kind of things we cover in University Prep. So basically, University Prep is taken by all incoming freshmen and transfer students who come into Nicholls with fewer than 30 semester hours. We try as much as possible to have our classes composed of similar majors or colleges. We do end up with a few mixed sections, but for the most part, we try to have as many be grouped as liked majors and liked colleges. We meet with the students 1 day a week, and it's only a 1 credit hour course. The student learning outcomes for the class, basically we want the students to be able to investigate academic programs that are available to them here at Nicholls, whether theirs or other possible majors as well. And we also help them to learn what kind of classes they'll be taking from the time they start as a freshman throughout their curriculum so that they can earn the degree they're here to earn. We also make sure that they're aware of all of the concepts, resources, and skills needed to be successful in college. So time management, study skills, things that will help them throughout their time here at Nicholls to achieve academic success. We help them realize what their long-term goals are and help them to see what needs to be done as freshmen through, to get those skills they need to where by the time they're seniors, they'll be able to achieve those goals that they have set for themselves. And we also go into detail in terms of what kind of campus resources are available to them so that they could use those resources while they are here as well. The topics that we cover in class, we only meet once a week, so we do have a lot of subject material that we try to get through in the short amount of time that we do have with the students. Those topics include university technology. We try to cover university technology on the first day of school. We go through Moodle as well as how to check their student email, and we also show them a little bit about how to use Banner, how to check their resources within Banner. We also do have a freshman how-to page that was done on the Nicholls website over the summer. So over the summer when we were emailing our students to give them updates about Nicholls so that we had that connection between the spring orientation and before they started classes in the fall. We would email them, and we were always sure to try to include that how-to freshman page, because on there they have some basic how to check your schedule in Banner, how to register classes in Banner, how to check your email. We have a lot of informational videos, which we hope that they will use and take advantage of. But we do briefly show them university technology on the first day of school. We also go through all the student resources and campus resources and services available to them, including the tutoring center, university health services, the counseling center, all of those resources on campus. We go through student organizations they could get involved in and ways that they can be involved on campus, as well as metacognition and study skills. We have a lot of class discussions for a lot of these subjects that we're talking about, just so that they could utilize their resources here. We do some goal setting and some growth mindset. What's that long-term goal? How or what you're doing now is going to help you achieve that goal? How are you going to be successful now to get to that end goal? We cover time management. We do academic honesty, some academic policies, suspension, probation, academic grievances. We're actually going to add in some freedom of speech for this semester. That was something that was brought to our attention that we want to kind of start incorporating into the UNIV. We look through how to read your advising handbook. How do you understand prereqs for certain classes? Where do you look up those prereqs for certain classes? Where do you find your degree program? How do you read your degree program? What classes are you supposed to take, ideally, as a freshman to progress you toward your end goal of graduation? So what am I taking as a freshman? What am I taking as a sophomore, etc.? We also look into all the options of majors and minors here at Nicholls. So if you had to pursue a minor, what would that minor be? What's general education courses? What are those classes that are required that you have to take? Which ones do you have some options as electives that would fall underneath those categories? We do some focus to career. Skills assessments for the students. It's a computer program that we do in partnership with Career Services, and they take some self-assessments. So there's one on personality assessment, there's one on skills, values, and career assessments. And we use those results. After they do all 4 of those, they're able to see what kind of majors are a good fit for them based on the way they answer those questions. And then we direct them to do some research through for their freshman reflection piece. It ties to their freshman reflection piece there. We talk about high impact practices as well as some resume building. So what can we start doing now as a freshman that will help you build that resume, get you involved in your major from early on? And then we also do some financial aid, what requirements are needed for financial aid, as well as a little bit of budgeting. Freshmen don't always realize that, but we like to at least let them see, keep in mind you're taking out a lot of student loans, grants. Let's see how we're gonna, make the most of our time here at Nicholls to earn that degree, be successful. There's also some university requirements that we do through our university prep class for the university. The students take the Bessie survey the first week of school. That's used for institutional research for our data purposes. So it tells them or asks them questions about what they expect as a college student, how much they're going to study, what kind of grades they think they're going to make. We also, as part of our class, assign the Not Anymore and the anti-hazing component for the university. That's necessary for Title IX. We also assign the freshman reflection piece, which is the first part of the SAM piece that they do as a freshman. So we focus specifically on 4 parts for the freshman reflection piece that the students do as freshmen. There we'll have classes geared toward helping them answer and complete the first part of that freshman reflection piece. We focus on extracurricular and student services. What kind of extracurricular activities are you involved in here on campus or would be interested in being involved in here on campus? What kind of student services and resources do you use to help you be more successful here on campus? We go into high impact practices. What kind of high impact practices fit into your current degree plan? What kind of other high impact practices can you potentially be involved in to kind of help you prepare, starting early on, to be successful in that career? Can you go out and do some volunteer hours? Can you go out and do some shadowing? So we get a little bit into that specifically based on majors as well. What are the requirements of your degree? Look through your degree. We use that advising handbook. You have to look at all the classes that are required for your degree. Read the descriptions in the back of the handbook. Which ones do you think are going to give you the most challenges? What kind of resources on campus are you going to use to overcome that? So we get into that. What would be a minor? Even if you don't have to have one for your degree, if you were going to get one, what would that minor be? And then what is that long-term career goal? And that way we could help you reach that career goal by helping you be successful as a freshman and hopefully carry that through to all of the remaining years of school that you do have. So again, this is introduced to them as that first part of that SAM requirement for that freshman reflection piece. And then they go on to do it at each academic level, therefore, after that. And then we like to consider advising. What's good about the university prep course is that their UNIV 101 instructor is their advisor for that first semester of school. So we're trying to build that connection early on, make that connection with someone at Nicholls that could be that resource for them. So they see that teacher once a week. They start having that working relationship so that that teacher can be that support system that they could use at least that first semester, first year of school. So that's something that's very important to us. And one other thing that I kind of wanted to mention is that we do have UNIV 100. Some of you may hear about UNIV 100. It does meet the requirements for the university requirement in order to graduate, but University 100 is used more of as a study hall course. So if you do have any students who maybe were not successful their first semester of school and maybe ended up on academic probation, we like to encourage them to take UNIV 100. It's a 3-hour-a-week course where they're paired with while they come to class, we have mentors who could help them, hold them accountable. It's kind of an advising. We're making sure that they're staying on track with the classes and the course material they have to do. We have printing available. So it's just that extra resource, and we do find the students really enjoy it and they benefit from it, and we've had a lot of success with the course. So if you do know of any students who would maybe be good students who would be needing that course, please direct them to us. We'll be more than happy to get them into that course. And if at any point you have any questions about university prep or UNIV 100 or what's required in those courses or what we cover, please always reach out to me. I'm more than happy to help answer any questions that you do have. Thank y'all very much and have a great day.
The university has a new event ticketing system that may be useful to functions within your area. Here to tell us more about this is Mr. Jared David, Director of University Communications, and Ms. Kristen Anselmi, Director of Marketing.
As a university, there are many moving parts, but we know that each of your projects are important. In University Marketing and Communications, our goal is to help effectively and accurately expedite your projects. That's why we're implementing the Marcom Project Management System. This system will help us meet the needs of the entire campus by organizing, prioritizing, and helping our team effectively navigate all of your projects.
Navigating our Marcom project management system is easy. To begin, go to nichols.edu/university marketing and select Project Requests from the bar. All of the creative services we offer can be found below. Each icon will bring you to a different set of questions needed to complete your task. To submit a creative services project, select the service icon that you are seeking. Then you will be asked a few simple questions such as project name, type, your information, due date, and details of the project. These details will help us properly evaluate your request and match your project to a staff member. If additional information or a consultation is needed, for our team to queue your project, a member of our team will reach out via email to collect additional details. For this example, we have selected press releases. Here, you will list the name of your project, as well as who the contact is, the type of project, as well as due date. This is an important question asked on all of our forms. Please keep in mind we will do our best to accommodate your date, and we understand that things do pop up, but with limited staff, sometimes we may need to adjust them. Once all of your information is input into the document, click Submit. If your project requires an additional service, such as for say, photography, you will need to fill out another form for each service. Also available as an option is the ability to borrow certain university branded items we have available in our department, such as tablecloths, pull-down banners, and backdrops. To fill out this form, you will click on the icon and add all the details of your event. A member of our staff will be in touch within 72 hours to confirm if this date and item are available for your event. It is important to note that items must be returned in the original condition they are in and returned the next business day to our office. One of the most exciting features of our new system is the addition of a marketing toolbox. To access the toolbox, select Toolbox from the Marketing and Communications website bar. The toolbox contains frequently requested items such as PowerPoint templates, flyer templates, photo, video, and social media tips for departmental use, and more. Our intent is to grow the Nicholls brand by providing you with these resources for all of your departmental communications. Be sure to check back as new items will be added periodically.
At the core of everything we do is our brand. The Nicholls brand goes beyond just the End with the Sword logo, but the logo certainly is an important part. The Nicholls brand is how people feel when they hear the word Nicholls. It's the concept that our students are more than just a number. But to build our brand, we have to all be speaking the same language and using the same visual marks. Over the years, Nicholls logos have changed and evolved. While some of those older marks were great at their time, it is important to use our current logos so we all are communicating the same way. Here are some examples of current logos and some outdated logos. If you have any questions about which logo you should be using, visit the University Marketing and Communications webpage or give us a call. We would be happy to help you out.
COVID-19 has forced us to operate a little differently as a university. It has also forced us to reevaluate the way that we do things. Part of this reevaluation includes our social media tactics. How can we do things more efficiently, more effectively, and reach a broader audience? Currently, the Nicholls social media accounts include Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, Pinterest, LinkedIn, Snapchat, and YouTube. We have 4 goals for social media going into the 2021 spring semester. Goal number 1 is going to be to strengthen the brand. This will include revamping department social media profile pictures to make them have a more cohesive feel. By doing this, we visually create a family of pages. That way you can easily identify which ones are official Nicholls department pages. Goal number 2 is going to be to educate departments on how to share their messages. Not all messages will be coming through the main Nicholls pages. There are so many great things coming out of our university that we will rely on departments to share their messages through their own social media pages. Part of the way we want to help educate departments who would like assistance with their social media accounts is by holding workshops to help guide departments on creating pages, following social media guidelines put in place by the university, following branding guidelines, and any other questions that people seeking guidance may want. Departments will also have access to a social media toolbox, which will have correct logos for the university, guidelines for social media, tips for social media, and stock images of the university to use on social media accounts. We would also like to periodically discuss with departments how they think their social media is going, and if they have any questions, concerns, or general information to pass along to the marketing department. Educating departments on the proper use of branding will be very important throughout this process. If material is branded properly, then it allows us to share to our main Nicholls pages. If the branding is out of date, it makes it more difficult for us to share the content. Goal number 3 is going to be to increase efficiency. By submitting your content and requests through the Marketing and Communications website, and by learning how to create beautiful content on your own department pages, it will allow us to work more efficiently and effectively. The toolbox with the stock photos will also help with efficiency. Departments will be able to pull down photos from the website for use instead of having to search or email requesting stock images. They will be on the website for anyone to use. The 4th and final goal is to partner with departments. We would like to see more faculty staff content on our social media accounts. This is going to include faculty and staff takeovers on some of our stories, possible live streams answering questions that students might have, and any other fun interactive ideas you may have for us. We also want departments to know that if you have any interns or volunteers who want experience working with marketing, we are open to having them help us with our social media. We would also like feedback from departments on how we're doing and what we can do better. I'm going to request that every department with a social media account email me at misty.mcelroy@nichols.edu with the names of administrators on your social media accounts and the handles and platforms for each account. It is important to us that we know all of the Nicholls department pages that are on social media. For anyone needing photography for their department, including headshots, university photos, and event photography, you may submit a request form through the newly updated Marketing and Communications website. If you need a headshot, this is where you will go to request that. There will be a link for you to schedule your headshot and pick whichever date and time you would like that is listed on the form. If you have any great photos from your department that you would like to submit to us, feel free to email any one of the Marketing and Communications team members, and we'll be happy to take a look at your photos. We cannot be everywhere, and we know that there are great things happening all the time, all over campus. In the event that we cannot be there to photograph your event, we've included a handy photography tips presentation on our website. If you ever have any questions about photography and would like assistance in how to better photograph your events, or in just creating content for your pages for social media accounts, please feel free to reach out to me at misty.mcelroy@nichols.edu. I would be happy to answer your questions.
On behalf of the entire university administration, I thank you for attending today, and I look forward to the work that we will do in the spring 2021 semester. As a reminder, please check with your deans and department heads for the dates and times of your college and departmental meetings.